Right, so some good news for a change, folks. I know it does happen rarely, but it does happen occasionally. Rishi Sunak's gang of polluting pains in our butts got handed their own backsides in the Lords twice over last night, all thanks to the lead taken by Green Party peer Jenny Jones. Now, regular viewers will know that I did a video recently where Rishi Sunak and Michael Gove swanned off to Norfolk in high-vis jackets, by helicopter no less, because Sunak loves to blow our money so as not to travel the same way as the rest of us do, or to launch an amendment to Gove's Levelling Up bill, which sought to use those new Brexit freedoms we've won to freely allow developers to no longer have to clean up their own messes when they happen to spill them into our waterways. It's not enough that they're allowed with the private water companies to pollute them already with prolific proportions of poop, but they wanted to excuse developers joining in by bidding off EU nutrient neutrality legislation, meaning for however much mess they made building houses near rivers that happen to spill in, that none of us can afford to buy anyway, we'll be picking up the tab for cleaning up that via the public purse. Naturally, the talking turnip that is the Environment Secretary Therese Coffey was in on all of this as well. They make the mess, we have to clean it up. Hardly fair and, of course, hardly environmentally friendly. Now, we've been here before in the Lords, of course. The Greens bringing forward legislation to block something awful the Tories are doing. But Green peers are thin on the ground there. To get their way, they have to convince other parties to join in with them. When this was done a while back regarding another Jenny Jones-led motion, a rare fatal motion as that was, in order to block Suella Braverman giving the police powers to block any demonstration they vaguely determined to be more than minor, it fell because Labour on that occasion didn't see its job as the official opposition to oppose what they saw as convention and tradition, despite that very same convention and tradition trampling all over and harming our freedoms. The opaque, out of touch and archaic rules of the honourable members of the Houses of Parliament come before basic things like our rights and the law of the land being fair, it would seem. Democracy died a death on that day and Keir Starmer whipped them all to do it. On this occasion, however, Labour have done the right thing. In this instance, Labour were clearly saying beforehand they opposed the binning of former EU legislation on this nutrient neutrality, so it seems being an opposition all hinges on whether they choose to oppose the Tories or not on any given day, whether it happens to be the right thing or not. Well, we'll take the win on this occasion, but ultimately this only came up in the Lords, this meaningful opposition, this doing something about the Tory plans to dirty up our waterways yet more, by being led by a Green peer, not the collective number of Labour peers. It's not being very well reported in the media, I've noticed today, though, either. One of the only mainstream papers covering it is The Guardian, who are making a big thing out of Labour defeating the government and Jenny Jones helping to lead the rebellion. But then, for a paper that peddled anti-Semitism, Corbyn stories harder than any other, you can't really expect much. Anyway, with the Tories wanting to relax rules on pollution connected with house building, the showdown was set. And with Labour and the Lib Dems joining the Green-led charge against it, the government attempted to ram this change through. And it got beaten, got defeated by 203 votes to 156. So pretty emphatic stuff. Now you might be thinking, but Damo, this has happened in the House of Lords. It'll just go back to the House of Commons, get voted through there again with some tweaks and changes or whatever, and it'll be back in the Lords where some might not be too interested in fighting this any further. It's what we've seen happen again and again and again with other bits of legislation, isn't it? What the government wants ran through, eventually they will get their way come hell or high water. And yeah, that does seem to happen a lot. It does make you wonder how useful as a second check the House of Lords can be at times. But that isn't the case here. The Tories trying to relax these rules on nutrient neutrality are completely dead now. Why? Well, they tried to slide them into the bill at a late stage in the proceedings. There are various stages all bills have to go through before they end up becoming law. And they've tried to slide this through at third reading in the House of Lords. And that means there's no more space in the progress of this bill for it to return to the House of Commons, because third reading of this bill happened there all the way back in last December. So the only stages left of this bill's progressing are the consideration of amendments at final stage, which have to be agreed by both houses, and the Lords are not going to back down on something they've just defeated. And after that, it's just royal assent. And that amounts to just signing what has been laid down and passed by both houses into law. Neither are stages of dramatic last-minute change. If they were, that would be challenged as rather undemocratic, because both houses would be denied a say in that. So short of the Tories bringing this whole nutrient neutrality issue back as a bill in and of itself and starting this whole process again, bearing in mind all this started getting on for 18 months ago, this bill being presented and beginning its progress, you soon realise there isn't time in this parliamentary calendar realistically to do that. As Jenny Jones has said, if this government really wants to do this, they can bring it all back again in a separate bill, start the whole process all over again, just on this as part of the King's speech. And that's coming on the 7th of November. Now, I can't imagine it's going to be a busy legislative period from the King's speech onwards in the run-up to an election that could come within just a few months, and at the latest, in all likelihood, only around a year from then. So who knows? They may try to rush it through. They're not happy at all with Labour. Sunak has sneered at Starmer as being a blocker and not a builder. But with his new nickname of Inaction Man, Tory weasel words on developer pollution having a negligible impact on the pollution there anyway, smacks of an attitude of, oh, well, it's full of shit now already anyway. No one will notice a bit more. And so Starmer's new nickname for him has every chance of sticking. And you know how much it galls me to ever give him props for anything. It's a solid win for the Green Party. Amazing how effective they've proven to be in recent months in the Lords, considering there are literally only 2 of them. You don't need many elected Greens, evidently, to make a big bloody difference then, eh? The media are giving Starmer's lot the credit, not entirely undeserved in this instance, but let's not pretend they instigated this. They just did the right thing this time, whilst others did the leading. Next time, like last time, that might not be the case. Please do leave a comment and let me know your feelings on this defeat, though. Do you reckon Sunak, Gove and Coffey will try and bring this back again yet in a new bill? Do you think there's still time to do that in this parliamentary period? Have your say and join in the conversation. Thanks for watching. I hope you found the video useful. Please like, share and subscribe if you did. New content out daily. Meanwhile, here's a video recommendation on that fatal motion defeat from earlier this year. Another reason why the Green Party and a Green vote is the progressive one these days, as establishment parties of all colours repeatedly end up failing us at some point. And I'll hopefully see you on the next vid. Cheers, folks.